Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. And I think Paul McLennan, Scotland's housing minister, must be feeling a bit embarrassed, especially as the figures have been released that show him to be a complete and utter failure. The SNP, back in 2023, under Humza Yousaf's wonderful leadership, had a genius idea. In truth, it actually wasn't a bad idea. It was just so appallingly badly implemented. And the idea, though, was to find houses for key personnel in remote rural areas so that you could get doctors, nurses, teachers, etc., a home near where they need to be in these remote places. It is a good idea. It genuinely is. If you have a need of certain people with their skills and abilities, that's fine. Find them somewhere to live. They can't buy it, of course. They can rent it because they won't be there forever and someone else will need to replace it. But at least if it's owned by the local authority for that specific purpose, then there is no problem in hiring people in to do these jobs. You can guarantee they have a home. Sounds simple, doesn't it? And especially when you're given a budget of £25 million with which to find these houses. That's quite significant. You'd think you could find quite a few houses. Let's say 100, right? 250,000 each. You'll find 100 houses, surely. And so, in the 18 months since this has been brought in, how many houses do you think they've found? Well, some people are going to go silly low and go, oh, they haven't found any. But actually, they have found some. But not as many as you think. 17. They were planning to buy 100, and in 18 months they've managed to find 17 homes for key workers. That's all that's been approved. That's all they've found. Why? Well, apparently there's two reasons. Number one is key workers, who tend to be, shall we say, slightly better paid, don't want to rent. They want to buy a home. Why should they sit there and pay rent to a landlord, in this case the local authority, when they could be sitting there and pumping that same salary into the capital of their home and owning their home? They hadn't thought about this. They just thought, oh, well, these people will go and rent their houses and that's fine. No, they want to own their houses. And secondly, the rents were unexpectedly higher than what they planned. And so few people took them up on their offer that they're sitting there and they're going, how come nobody wants this? Well, hey, if you want to give them a peppercorn rent, you might have a chance. Give them a peppercorn rent, £100 a month peppercorn rent. They'll stay there, they'll do their job, but they'll be having enough money left at the back end of their salary, even after that £100, that they could invest and buy a damn house of their own. They don't want to rent forever. But of course, that's not how these people see it, because they fail to accept that people are human beings who want stability and the joy of owning their own house. They seem to think that, oh, we'll just move them around. And what happens if, oh, look, you've invested here, you've done this, you've got all the very nice, blah, 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 blah. But we're closing that school. We're going to move you to somewhere else. I don't want to live somewhere else. I want to live here. I've made a community. I made a life. Oh, no, but you have to move. Well, are you going to replace this house with another one? Oh, no, we're getting rid of this one. You have to go and get your own house now. This is the joined up thinking of the SNP, isn't it? Now, if they really wanted to get people in and help them, the very least you do is you go in and say, right, what we'll do is we'll go in and aid you in assist you in buying a house. We'll give you a tax break to buy a house or something. And that way they're still invested. But to do it the way they were doing it is sheer lunacy. And of course, it's completely failed. It's not a surprise that it's failed. I mean, everything the SNP ever do fails. But there were 7 of them were in the Highlands, and 7 in Orkney, 2 in Moray, 1 in North Ayrshire, and a couple of others dotted around. All fairly remote. I wouldn't count North Ayrshire particularly remote, I suppose, but, well, I don't know. Yeah, it's quite villagey and Okay, yeah, no, I will. Not actually, yeah. But, it's just weird that they would go and do it in that particular way. It's almost as though they probably had this bright idea and didn't take professional advice, and more importantly, didn't ask the key workers what they want. Now, that seems much more likely, doesn't it? Go ahead with half-formed plans thought up by an idiot called Humza Yousaf, who did not consult anyone at all at any stage of the development of this. And then just randomly throwing, there's £25 million. And I bet they hadn't done any kind of cost analysis, cost benefit analysis. I bet there was no failure metrics. I bet there was no risk assessments. I bet they hadn't done anything. It was one of those unexpected light bulb moments that he used to have, thinking it was a great idea, which always, without fail, when it comes to the likes of Humza Yousaf, turns into an absolute failure of a fail. Anyway, fewer than 20 houses, as I say, 17 in total confirmed. They found 18, but they didn't buy the 18th for some reason. The fund was designed to allow councils to attract key personnel, but they've attracted so few that it's being wound up, effectively. Tories, of course, they've had to weigh in on this. Everyone's weighing in on this because it's so damn stupid. So the SNP, they say, this is Tim Eagle, their rural affairs spokesman. He said the SNP are continuing to scandalously neglect the housing needs of rural Scotland. They announced this scheme to much fanfare, but progress on delivering homes has been painfully slow, non-existent really. For only 17 of these homes to be identified through a scheme worth 25 million beggars absolute belief. I mean, it's another example. I mean, you don't need any more examples, but it is just another example of how the SNP fail to focus on what the problems are and what the solutions are. They look at a broader picture and go, let's just throw that, blah, blah, blah. They don't look at right, what is the problem? This is the problem. How do we solve this problem? We do this. And do it. Rather than, we've got some vague problem over there. I'll just throw some money at it. Hope. Of course, it's never going to work. Now, McLennan, of course, it's his plans. He's had to come up and defend it. He said, we recognise that good quality, affordable housing is essential to heat. And then he goes on to a bloody word salad about how nice it is to have houses and what wonderful blah, blah, blah. And commitments. All talking about commitments. But commitments are fine. But where's actions? What are you actually doing? The answer, dear friends, is sweet FA. As ever. Thanks very much. Bye.